When I started thinking of making a season 3 retrospective of Legend of Korra, I initially thought I should probably wait until we hear news about season 4 and when it's coming out. I didn't really expect it to be this soon though. I mean, October 3rd as their premiere? Like, damn. And then as soon as I heard that, I immediately thought, yeah, it actually makes sense because now we don't have to have Nickelodeon. We don't have to wait for Nickelodeon to advertise and set it up and a premiere day. It's like, no, like as soon as it's done, release it online. All right, let's do it. Let's go with that. And part of me is sad because there are a lot of people who are not going to be able to find out when it's coming out because of Nickelodeon not advertising Legend of Korra anymore. So the viewership might drop. So hopefully there's like hundreds of reviewers and hundreds of people it's just making videos to tell people, hey, October 3rd, Legend of Korra Book 4. Because I am excited for Book 4, especially with the title Balance. And the reason I'm excited is not because of some predictions I have in my head. It's because recently with season 3, I felt like it was disjointed from the beginning to end in certain aspects. For the most part, the story was solid and everything did come together at the end. But there were still open issues that need to be resolved. So I'm hoping with Balance they resolve a lot of this thing and really, show me some grand epic story that started from season 2 to season 4. Because season 1, you can say it was a standalone season. It can be in its own series. Although I will admit, one of the biggest things that was brought up throughout the first 3 seasons, and maybe will come up in the 4th, was the idea that the Avatar is no longer needed. Now, what do I mean by that? The first villain wanted to get rid of the Avatar to make people equal. Now, maybe it was for more power, so he can be the most powerful person in the world or something like that. But for the most part, he wanted to get rid of the Avatar. And a lot of people were happy about it because they felt oppressed by the people who can bend. And who's the most powerful bender? The Avatar. So they immediately assume she's the leader of the benders and she's the cause of it all. And then the second season, Unalaq wanted to get rid of Korra so he can become the Dark Avatar and again take over the world. But at the same time, it's still a need to get rid of the Avatar. In fact, a lot of people didn't really respect her word as the Avatar. And when it came to the case of North and South Civil War. And then even the third season, there's someone who wants to get rid of the Avatar because she's this symbol of peace and order. And I'm wondering, it's kind of right. The same way the world is evolving with technology and society and their culture and their mindset, they didn't want anything to do with spirits. Now, what was the original Avatar's goal? Balance between spirits and humanity. But first, balance between humanity, so that way the spirits can come in and we can work on that balance. But when as further and further the world progressed, they didn't want anything to do with spirits. They didn't want anything to do with the spirituality of bending. They just wanted to progress as a society and technology and make life easier for everyone. But here comes the Avatar and a lot of the airbenders saying, no, we have to stick to old traditions, spirits and everything. And I'm wondering exactly how far will it take before society in the whole finally just stands up and says, no more Avatar. We have no need for the Avatar. Eventually weapons will become more powerful and outperform the Avatar. There will no longer be a need for Avatar. And that's an interesting little concept that I hope they incorporate into the 4th season. Like, more and more people are considering having nothing to do with the Avatar. And in fact, the ending of season 3 suggested that airbenders are not going to become these mercenaries. So maybe they'll go around trying to bring peace, to people to resolve their problems. But more and more people will be like, no, we don't want your help. Exactly how are you going to solve this? In a peaceful manner. We already have things handled, like fighting them or something like that. And Then I noticed like there are a couple of images already online of Korra already standing up, and it's like, okay, I'm hoping that's kind of near the end, because here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that a lot of fans, well, actually not really, because I believe season 4 they were already working on that long before season 3 was over. So probably book 4 will not be influenced by fan comments or stuff like that. So okay, no, but what I am still worried about is Korra will get you the use of her legs back a little too early, and everything will be fine. She'll be more powerful than ever. And I don't know. I really feel like having an avatar deal with the fact that she lost her legs, thus weakening her and her bending ability, would really impress me in any series. Having the main character limited by a wheelchair, that is heavy. That is just an amazing story plot that really can be built upon endlessly, really. Because it's not just the character has to deal with it, it's her friends, it's her family. How do they talk to her? How do they try to get her to accept their help when she's so broken? So hopefully they do take this, they gently, they take very careful steps towards this, because I don't want it to be like, we give you your legs back, boom, you're back to full bending ability. Maybe it's more of a blood bending thing, like she's forcing her body to fight for her. Like, okay, I mean, she's constantly in pain doing this, but it's helping her, protect her friends. So that would be nice. If they do some weird magic thing, like do Sex Machina with the fingers to give her legs back, it's like, why are you doing this? Why? But again, there's just so much left open. The spirits are still around. Hopefully they play a bigger role in the fourth season. Like, maybe there are still Red Lotus members out there who are actually taking advantage of the spirits, or maybe it's not Red Lotus, it's maybe just a new character, new villain who finds a way to convince spirits to go to war with the humans, and that's finally the pushing point, the breaking point for Korra to really resolve the issue between spirits and humanity. But really, there's so much left open and so many possibilities for book 4 that I'm worried, because it's the final season. It's obviously the final book, because now that Nickelodeon pulled the plug, there's no longer possibility for further seasons or a new series. But yeah, there's obviously going to be the final book, final season. So they had to have so much still open, so many possibilities. I'm afraid they're still going to leave some things unresolved, and they're going to leave me wanting. And as much as I don't want cliffhangers in my TV shows, they're usually fine. I'm usually fine with them if they leave off in a good note, like, this issue can't be resolved in a few days or a few months. This is something that takes years and years of diplomacy and discussion and debate, that it's okay to leave it open. And I'm okay with those endings, because yeah, I mean, if spirits and humans still don't get along at the end of the season, I'll be fine. If they did get along, it'd be like, well, that was easy. I mean, thousands and thousands of years of spirits looking down on humanity and humanity being afraid of spirits. It was obviously all being resolved by Korra. One, you suck as the first Avatar. You couldn't do what Korra did in a few days. Like, no, you can't do that. I mean, that would just be like too much of a jump. But yeah, I am excited for book 4, because like I said, there has endless possibilities with what they can do with storytelling, especially with Korra in her wheelchair. The spirits are still here in the world, and humanity is still uncomfortable with that. Airbenders are trying to go around the world helping people, but who knows if the world even wants their help. And maybe they'll build more on the whole idea that the world doesn't need the Avatar anymore. What happens when that comes to fruition? Like, well, gee, I mean, it's gotten to a point where the Avatar system is no longer appreciated, no longer wanted by the world. what do you do when the whole point of the Avatar is no longer there? Do you find a new reason for them to be there, or do you get rid of the Avatar forever? So really, I mean, I'm excited for book 4. I really am. I mean, there's no telling where it's gonna go, but hopefully they really thought these things through and give us a story that will never be forgotten. Because so far, I'm kind of forgetting season 2. Season 1, it's still in my head. I mean, there's no way I can forget I'm on. Season 3, again, I'm forgetting some things, but for the most part, it's memorable. But I want season 4 to be the epic point, the point where I can just say, my God, this is Avatar. This is the Avatar. This is the series I fell in love with. This is the series I'm always gonna love. So hopefully, it comes to that. I really do. Until then, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye bye.